I am here in Hancock Shaker Village in Pittsfield in Hancock, Massachusetts, the site of a Shaker commune that was active until 1960, known as the City of Peace. It features 1,200 acres of restored village featuring 20 buildings. It is now an operational historical museum. One can even book your wedding here. Shakers, the term is actually more derogatory, meant to encompass their enthusiastic, outward expression of the spirit. Mache Potts has described this as including shaking, rolling on the floor, whirling, speaking in tongues or glossolalia, barking, laughing, dancing, running after one's outstretched hands in long trances. But later, these would be outlawed and redirected into elaborate dances, some featuring intricate work in pursuit of greater social control, as with the village model with gender separation, shared living and working together, and communal goods. According to Sybil R. Heim, dances became more stylized, patterned, and disciplined. There were quick marches, shuffle marches, round dances. A square order shuffle was conceived to depict angels dancing before the throne of God. The dances became increasingly complex. The intent was that the dances would increase communication with God. Walt Whitman of Leaves of Grass fame witnessed a wheel dance in 1853. Unfortunately, the increased emphasis on structure led to a loss of the personal, self-directed, impulsive expression of enthusiasm that had been so powerful in the earlier experience, but that risked for the leadership the loss of that social control. This would help lead to the demise of the order, for the most part. Repetition was anti-spiritual, as observed by Heim. So what did they believe? They were basically Christian and were led and reinvented by Anne Lee, who was a working-class young woman who was 22, and she joined the United Society of Believers, founded in Manchester, England, 11 years earlier by John and Jane Wardley, who would cede control to Lee 10 years after her joining. Included in this was a unique concept of a male-female duality found in the Godhead. Lee was a prophetess and was believed to be the Christ Spirit returning to lead the way to the second coming and salvation should they adopt the Shaker way of life, free of sin. She was imprisoned for her disruptive behavior in England, like the Quakers, which the Shakers were a derivative of, going so far as to obstruct the efforts of other denominations to hold their services and practice their faith. She brought a handful of followers, some say 7, some say 9, to America in 1774 aboard the Mariah to Watervliet, New York, where they established their first Shaker village, Niskeyuna. She would be jailed in the New World too, along with some of her followers, for refusing to pick sides in the American Revolutionary War or to fight in it. Missionary work by the Shakers would lead to new communities being founded in New York, New England, and later in Ohio and Kentucky. By 1819, there would be 18 settlements in 8 states. This was a realized utopian community predicated upon strict celibacy. Anne Lee was horrified by carnal desire or behavior. There was an expectation to humble the self and to mortify the lusts of the flesh through self-debasement, separation of the sexes, public confession of sins, pacifism, a respect for strict hierarchy. Anne Lee and her successors were messengers from God to be obeyed completely. They were socially organized, communists. They shared consumption. Friedrich Engles actually studied them. Not anti-modern, unlike Amish, they embrace technical and political ideas and advancements, hard work and pride in the quality of the product of the hard work, faith in the non-stop involvement and presence of God in their lives, continual revelation through their prophet leaders, simplicity in how one lived, dressed, behaved, and conducted themselves, and focused on the pursuit of perfection and largely isolated from the external world. At their peak, they had 5,000 to 6,000 members in 1850 and about 20 establishments, but only one remains in Gloucester, Maine, with a handful of members in a village called Sabbath Day Lake. This location, which was active from 1780 until 1960, they actually have a database of all the members on the website, and the lack of great awakenings, celibacy that prevented new members, and really the loss of kind of the dangerousness as being perceived as a threat to American values as Republican government, family structure, private property, and individualism. They became romanticized and lampooned and more an endearing, amusing, antiquarian curiosity. Something that no longer had to be warned against in newspaper articles. And so they are now a footnote more than a chapter in a story of America. Thank you.